The exclusionary rule is a form of doctrine that was created to prevent the U.S. government from using most evidence that is gathered in violation of the United States Constitution. We're looking more specifically at the Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment, which respectively grants the protection uh, of unreasonable searches and seizures and the self-incrimination piece for the Fifth Amendment. This rule applied significantly to two court cases. First one being Boyd versus the United States, 1886, where a company was was told to produce invoices to show that they paid taxes on a product. The company here did not do so. They contended that the compulsory production of records violated the rights under the Fourth Amendment, which prohibited the unreasonable searches and seizures, and the Fifth Amendment protecting freedom from compulsory self-incrimination. They had won that court case, and then secondly, Mapp versus Ohio, 1961, which occurred during the significant social rights reform era of the 1960s. This case was also important too in regards to the incorporation of the Bill of Rights at the state level, since it didn't occur initially or wasn't interpreted initially as being applied to the state level up until essentially the 1960s. With Mapp versus Ohio, two police officers forcibly entered the home of Miss Mapp looking for a suspected bomber. While in the home, they saw what appeared to be pornographic material and prosecuted Mapp under an Ohio statute for having possession of lewd and lascivious material. Then, during the court proceedings, it was the evidence was barred in the federal courts, and the majority agreed at the Supreme Court that the exclusionary rule for unlawfully seized evidence applied to state courts as well through the 14th Amendment. Next, with the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, this takes the exclusionary rule one step further. Essentially, any evidence that's obtained in violation of the United States Constitution that leads to more evidence that increases the criminal culpability of a suspect cannot be used as well. So there's one court case, Silverthorne Lumber Company versus the U.S., which is similar to Boyd versus the United States, where a company had to produce corporate books and papers and other documents for a criminal proceeding against them. They did not do so. Thus, Department of Justice officials went and arrested two brothers that ran the business. And then while they were in custody, they went to the business, got any documents, made copies of them, and then kept those copies and then returned the originals back. In this case, the fruit was the copies of the corporate books, the documents that they got from the business, and then the poisonous tree here is the arrest and also the entrance of the not the arrest, the entrance, the unreasonable search and seizure of the business, the Silverthorne Lumber Company.